So today we will see some of the ER diagrams and we will practice a basic ER diagram and in class. And also we will start with the SQL queries. Uh, to start off with, we will start with the basic queries and how to understand a query, how to write and how to think of a query before writing it. So basically SQL, if you understand English, so SQL will be pretty easy, I would say. So you have to think what you have to write, and then obviously the syntax will be straightforward. You can just understand. So that's how you have to write an SQL query. And to finish off, I will give some kind of tips or kind of a changes you have to do in your assignments, because I have seen some of the assignments you have written your queries right, but there are some additional steps you should have added which is not necessary for some assignments. So I will try to emphasize on those things at last. So I hope it is fine for today's session. So first, today we will start off with entity relationship diagram. So as we have seen in the class on Tuesday, so entity relationship has three things as a main. So one is attributes, one is entity, and the relationship. Entities you can consider as a table. Okay. Attributes are the columns of the table or the relations of a table. For example, student is a table. Okay, that is an entity. And what are the relationship? So student ID, the name, the address, the phone number are the attributes of the student. So that is the attributes. And the relationship, for example, there is another table called university. So what is the relationship student has with the university? Student studies in university. So that is the relationship. And there are some minor tweakings on this entity relationship diagram. So I mean, we can have any example. So for in this case, I have taken some kind of a grocery shop online ordering, something like an example to show you guys. So for this exercise, I am using Lucidchart, which is which I prefer because there are a lot of notations which is similar to ER diagram, and you can use also the Visio for this Visio tool. So in this, if you can see my screen, there are some kind of entity relationship icons at the bottom you can see. So as I said earlier, entity will be in entity. This is called entity and it is in rectangular shape. And so there is one more entity called weak entity. So I hope you would remember from the previous lecture. So weak entity is nothing but, for example, bank is an entity. Okay. Bank account is a weak entity. So without a bank account cannot have a separate say. You get the drift, right? For example, I'm having a bank account. So without I'm opening a bank account from a bank, I can't have the bank account as a separate entity. So in a better example, I would say, uh, I would think of better example, but you can get the drift. So without, I mean, it can't handle itself as a single entity. You can assume like that. So that is a weak entity. And the elliptical shape is the attributes, so which I was mentioning. And there are like four kinds of attributes, which I will explain while we are drawing it. And this uh, diagonal is the relationship. So relationship is nothing but which has a connection between two entities. So as I mentioned earlier, students with the university. So, and if you have an relationship with a weak entity, then we have to use a weak relationship. For example, the example which I mentioned. So if you are having a relationship, bank has a bank account. So that's a relationship. So that has will have a weak entity because the bank account is a weak entity itself. So the relationship has to be weak. So whenever you are connecting a entity which is weak, so we have to use a weak relationship instead of a normal relationship. That is the funda basically. And so let's start with the grocery shop example, or whatever example if you want, we can try it after this example. So what are the entities will be there in a grocery shop? For example, we are ordering groceries online. Okay. So I would say customer is an entity. So we are the customers of the grocery shop. So, and that is a strong entity, because without customer there is nothing, there is no way they can purchase anything. And we can have another entity called what we can have product. Okay. In groceries we will serve the products whatever is available, and we can have the employees of the shop. Okay. And maybe we can have order details or something. Okay. So these are the four entities randomly I have picked up. So in this customer, we need to identify what are the attributes of a customer. So basic attributes we all know. So we will have the customer ID, and we can have name of the customer, and we can have phone number of the customer, and we can also have his address or whatever. Okay. So these four attributes I have selected for the customer table. Okay. In this, I am using this example, I will explain the attributes. What are the different attributes we are talking about? So for if you have used database previously, for each table, it is useful to have a unique ID for the table. Okay. For example, if you are creating a table called customer, you can create a table without a unique identifier, but it is always preferable to use the identifier for the particular table. For example, customer is a table, and we are considering one of the parameters, one of the columns of the table as a unique identifier. In this case, we can have customer ID as a identifier of the particular table, which is unique to that table. For example, you have a customer on the product table, for example, in real case, and you want to access some of the contents from the customer table. So you need to have some kind of unique identifier to pick out. For example, I want to find the details of customer number 10. Okay, the 10 is an identifier. So using that, you can easily pass through the database. So that is the basic funda of it. So we need to have, I mean, it is ideal to use a key attribute in any database table. For each table, you have to have an unique identifier. That's what I was trying to say. So this is a key attribute. We are considering customer ID as a key attribute. So key attribute has to be underlined. Let me select. Is it underlined? Okay, it is underlined, but it's very feeble actually. You can, I don't know whether you can see or not. So customer ID, we are considering it as a key attribute because customer ID is unique to that particular table. That is a basic idea of it. And the name can be an attribute and it is not a key attribute, so we are not underlining it. And address can be a composite attribute because address has a different component. For example, I can have another attribute saying street name or pin code or postal code or whatever. So if an attribute has a subsequent attribute, that is called an composite attribute. So in this case, street name and postal code or composite attribute of address. Okay. And there is one more thing. There is something called multi-valued attribute, which is if you have an attribute, if an attribute has multiple values, then it is called multi-valued attribute. So in this case, phone number can be considered as an example because people will have a multiple phone number. So that is considered as a multi-valued attribute. So in this case, we can replace that phone number attribute with a multi-valued attribute. So here I can write phone number. So we can all link this to that particular entity.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Why phone number is a multi-value?
I mean, there is a possibility that people might have multiple phone number. This is just an example. It's not the.
Now, yeah, understood. Okay.
Yep. So this is not a concrete step like for phone number you have to use it. No, it's not like that. You can use it for address also. There is a possibility that people might have multiple address. If you can remember, for food delivery, you can deliver to a home address or a office address. So it's based on your use case, what you're going to do. Based on that, you can just use any of the notation which you want. Basically, if anybody sees your entity relationship diagram, they should identify what is the database you are trying to create. That is a basic idea of it. So for the customer, we try to implement all the attributes. I guess I forgot one attribute called derived attribute. That is like the curious, I mean, the most common cases when you are using a age or a date of birth. So that is when you will use that derived attribute. So customer, as I mentioned, is an entity, and product is also an entity. For product also, we can have multiple attributes similar to this, like the product ID, product name, product price, whatever attribute you think of, we can have. And in middle, we have to have some kind of relationship saying customer purchases product. Okay. And for each relationship, there is a cardinality. Okay. So cardinality is nothing but how you are connecting to the customer. I mean, for example, if a person, I mean, consider an example, simply not this one. Consider a person having a passport. Okay, each person will have one passport. There is no possibility he will have multiple passports. So there is a relationship like one to one. So that is a cardinality, and in this case, it is like multiple customer and multiple product. So it is an M and N relationship. There is a multiple customers. Also, there are multiple products which they can purchase. So in this case, we can have M and N relationship. And since it has both the entities as, I mean, normal entities, we are having a normal relationship here. And in this case, also we'll have a normal entity, I believe, a normal relationship. For example, there is one more entity. Okay. So here we can have categories. For example, we have, I mean, 10 products we can consider: vegetables, fruits, and stuff. So these are categories. And under those categories, there are products. So for example, under vegetable, there are 5 vegetables, and under fruits, there are like apple, orange, and things. So these are categories. So category is a weak entity because without products, there is no category. So in this case, category will be considered as a weak entity. And if you connect with a weak entity, I will delete this actually. Yep.
But I'm wondering, will this according be on the model?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we were speaking, so category can be a weak entity, and whatever weak entity we are connecting with an actual entity should have a weak relationship. Okay. So these are the different, I mean, this is like a revision of what we had on Tuesday's lecture with an example. And if you want to try some other example, you can just tell me, or if you want to have one more example of this in a different solution, I mean, for a different problem, if you want, we can have it. Any doubts till now?
I think was pretty good. At least I understood.
Okay. Is okay. Okay. So, I mean, if you have any doubts, maybe we can have it at last. You can ask. So next we will jump on to SQL. So I try to create a, I mean, dummy database of the same supermarket example, having some kind of information. I mean, there are 4 tables. Okay, in this example. So the main thing is the customer and the products, and there is a table called category as well as orders. Okay, So we will try to answer some questions, and based on the question, we will try to fetch the query or do some kind of SQLs. Okay, we will start with the basic query. Okay, let me, I prefer this actually. Yep. Yep. So yes, so let me show you. Okay. So if you can see my screen, there are there are 30 users. I mean, these are like random users which you have created, and their first name, last name, their gender, phone number, and the basic information, address and city and the pin code. Okay. And for the categories, you can see there are 9 categories which was created, like vegetable, fruits, and something. And for products we have created, like for each product which categories we have linked, so you can see the product name and things. And so to link all of it, we have created a table, so which will tell who has purchased what product and how much it cost. Okay, this is the drift of the problem. I hope you get it. Okay, so the first thing, when you are having a SQL problem, for example, I will take a simple problem to start off with. For example, you want to print the customer, okay, I mean the top 10 customer in a database. Okay, what you have to do? So the question itself says what we have to do. So the question says we have to print the 10 customers from customer table. Okay, there is a customer table which we saw. Okay, we need to print the top 10 customers. So first thing is we will select start from customer. Okay, but this will print all the 30 customer, but the problem statement says we need, I mean, I'm explaining the literally the from the ground level. I think most of the people will know this thing, but still I want to explain, like, so that everyone will be on the same page. Okay, some might think, okay, why is teaching like select star from customer? So just to clarify thing, so you can see this query will print all the customers in the database, but the problem statement says you want only the top 10. Okay, in SQL, I mean, there, due to the different SQL tools which are there are certain commands will you work in certain tool and will not work in certain tool. For example, for this thing, for this problem, we can use top command. There is a command called top, which which will work in Microsoft SQL Server, but in this case, SQLite, it will not work. For SQLite, there is a command called limit. Okay, limit to 10. So you can see there is no next page. Okay, otherwise I will say limit to 7. Okay, we are printing the top 7 customers, I mean, randomly based on the customer ID from the database. Okay, so the problem statement is list the customer which I mean the top 7 customer from the customer database. So we will go one step ahead. Okay, we need to print the customers who are from the city Helsinki. Okay, so what is the table we need to think? So customer details were in customer table, so we need to select the customer table. Okay, and the condition is we need to pick all the customer from the city Helsinki. Okay, so the condition command for SQL is where. Whenever you think of a condition in SQL, you have to use where. I mean, there are certain other commands, but mostly you will be using where. Where means, okay, where you will put the command, I mean, put the condition to parse the data. Okay, so we are saying select star from customer where city equal to, and single quotation is used to represent string. Okay, Helsinki. I believe spelling.
The H needs to be a big letter.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So this will print all the customers who are from Helsinki. Okay. This is the, this is the bare minimum of understanding the SQL queries. And there are certain uh, commands which were mentioned during the session on Tuesday. Okay. So as we have seen, single quotes is used for string. Okay. And star is used to mention all the tables, all the columns of the table. For example, I want to parse only I want to get only the first name and the last name of the date of the customer database. I don't want their address or phone number or email address. I only want first name and last name of the customer. In this case, I can just mention first name, comma, last name from customer. Okay. So this is how you pass the data from there. So all the select statement, you can just separate all the SQL query based on the statement. The select is nothing but how you want to see the data. Select star will tell you want to see all the data from the table. Okay. If I am mentioning select first name, last name, I'm saying I want to see only the first name and the last name of the data from the customer table. Okay. So that is usually we will use star to get all the data to see what we want. Then we will finalize what are the different things we need to take out of it. Okay. So for example, and the percentage symbol can be used. For example, in my case, I made a mistake. Like I don't know the spelling of Helsinki. Okay. If I don't know the spelling of Helsinki, I will try to tell he and percentage. I will select. Okay. So it will automatically take all the cities which is starting from HE and whatever can be the character at last. Okay. For example, I don't know the spelling of La Parenta, then I will just press LA. Okay. If I run the query, it will all print the cities which are starting from LA and then whatever the character follows. Okay. So that is a usage of a percentage in SQL. Okay. And one more thing, there is kind of an underscore where you can say, for example, underscore T high. Then we are printing LA. Then I am not sure whether it's E or H. So it is printing whatever it is available from the database. That is a use of that particular command. Okay. So I covered. Okay. The dot. Yeah. The dot operator I will try to explain after I'm explaining the joins and tables or something. And yep. So now we will see. We can. Yeah. Now we will combine both tables. Okay. We will see kind of an next level of SQL, like join the tables. Okay. So as we have seen, customer table has a primary key as customer ID, which you can see in the screen. Okay. And for each table, there is an identifier of their own. Okay. For example, select star from orders will have order ID as a primary key. Okay. and the customer ID and the product ID are a foreign key from the from their table. Okay, so for example, we need to check what are the orders a customer made. Okay, particular customer. For example, we will take a case of customer 10. What are the different orders customer 10 had made? Okay, so in this case, we are combining multiple tables. One is the customer table and the product table to get what are the products he has bought, and the order table to get all the order details. Okay, three tables we are trying to combine here. So first we will always write star. Okay, so along in with order table, we are trying to join customer table. Okay, so customer table has to be joined on a particular condition. Okay, we are joining customer table with order table on what we are trying to say in customer table. There is a column called customer ID, and we are trying to match with orders table with customer ID. So this line will automatically say I am matching whatever the customer ID and whatever the orders are there for the customer ID. Okay, for example, if you run this and see, we are not making any condition. So for example, order ID customer. So this is the order table, you can see till price, and this is the customer table. What is the customer ID? First name, last name, and okay. So for all the orders, there are 100 orders for this table. For all the orders, it will just print all the details of the customer. So this is how the inner join works. But in our case, we need to identify what are the products the person has bought. So we need to join one more table. So we will join one more table called product on. Again, the product table has a product ID, and the order table has an order ID. Okay, so we are combining with product ID with orders dot. Okay, so in this case, we have combined three tables. So if you run and see, we can see three tables. First is the order table, because we have joined the customer second. So you can see the customer table. Okay, till pin code you can see. After that, you can see the product table. So in your assignment, there is a case like you need to combine the winner and the loser. You remember? So in that case, you can use joins. Okay, I'm giving a hint. You can use joins to think how do you want to connect those tables. So in that way, joins is a better way to connect either a same table multiple times or a multiple table in parallel. Okay, for example, if I connect product, I can connect the product again also in a different name. Okay, so that is a advantage you can get with the join statement. So we have combined all the three tables now. So the database has all the details. Now what we are trying to do? Now we have to think of a condition. What is the condition we need to think? So as we discussed earlier, so our condition is whatever products which they have bought, I mean for a particular customer, customer ID is 10 or something which we discussed. So we will try to see customer ID equal to 10. Okay, so he has bought the juice and a bathroom cleaner, the customer ID. Okay, so we have got the product only for that particular customer ID. So in this example, if you don't want to see all this information, you can just, so as I said earlier, once you have finalized your condition, then you go to the select statement to think how do you want to see the table. Okay, what are the information I need to see? So in this case, I don't want to see everything, the IDs and all. I want to see his first name, last name, and and product name. But there is one, I mean, I should have mentioned here actually. So why we are mentioning like this? So we are mentioning the customer is a table, and the dot operator will tell the column name of the table. Okay, dot operator is used to mention the column of the table. Customer ID is a column in a customer table. So for example, our statement says blindly select first name, last name, product name from orders. SQL will think in order table there is no column called first name, last name, or product name. So in this case, we need to specifically mention customer dot first name, customer dot last name, and product name is in product table, product dot product name, so that SQL will think